In this question here, this is a grade 10 trig functions. So in this exercise, we'll be looking at these two graphs, that is the 2 cos x and negative cos x. So here we're given the graph here is already sketched for us. So now let's check that. How do we then analyze this graph here? By checking all the values that are given to us, or what we know, or what we can do from this graph here. Now here in the first question here, they're saying we must determine the length of OA, OB, CD. So we'll be looking at the that is the distance between those 2 points. Now looking at this portion over here, so here we've got this is 1 and this is 2, that is -1, this is -2, and that -2, so that means D tends at -2, and then this point of here over here, it is -1 up to that portion, and also this one, it tends at +1, and that one is starting from +2 and ends at +2. Now we need to check that how are we going to answer, that is the first question, whether to say the length of OA and OB. How are we going to get that? How? Okay, here we can use this equation. There's this equation that says OA is equal to must be the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1. So we can use this formula, it's fine. So this formula, you use this formula in all areas, or maybe in all cases whereby there is a straight line that is vertical, or when there is a horizontal line, or when there is a slope, or the line like a gradient. So we can use this formula in all cases. But there is one formula that I would like to introduce to you today. Okay, that is the simpler one. If only the line, it is a vertical line, and then we can use that formula, or only if it is a horizontal line, then we can use that formula. Okay, so at point A here, we've got at point A here, let me just use another color. At point A here, we've got that is the x value. Remember, this is on the y-axis, so x there, it is 0, so 0 is to 2. So at point 0 over here, must be 0 is to 0. So now if we want to determine the length of OA, so we're gonna use, that means we're gonna move from that is from A to O. So remember, the point A, it is the top part, it is the y top for A, and at O here it is the y bottom. All right, so therefore if now want to get the length from, that is from A, so that is from O over here and going up to A, we can just use this formula. So let's check that. How do we then calculate the length of OA? So solution, so the length of OA, that is the number 1, the length of OA must be equal to y top minus y bottom. Okay, and then now here what is going to happen is that then when we substitute, guys, we only consider the y values, or between these 2 points, only the y values. Why? Because these 2 points are on a straight line, that is a vertical line, so we can use this equation here. Okay, I said we can also use this one, but if now the line is a straight line, we can just we can use this one as well. Okay, so the y top there, we can just take the y value at the top, so which is 2 minus, and then the y value at the bottom, of course it is 0, and then now 2 minus 0 must be just 2 units. Okay, so that is the answer. So we can also use this one. Let me just show you if we can use this one. So let me say or, and then OA must be equal to square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So remember, if now I want to use this one, so we will have to label this point. Remember, we need to label them alphabetically. So when we label them alphabetical, we say this must be x1 y1 and this must be x2 y2. So we substitute. So our x2 over here, our x2 must be 0 minus x1 is also 0 squared plus, and then y2, and then our y2 must be, which is 2, must be 0 minus 2 all squared. And then from here we just because this portion here is 0, so that means we're gonna just have that portion. Then 0 minus 2 is gonna be just -2, and then 2 squared must be 4, then square root of 4 must be 2 units in. Okay, so you can see that the answers here are the same. Okay, so but I'm not going to use this one again, but I was just showing you guys that you can also use this one as well. Okay, so now going to that is from O to, that is from O to B, from O here up to B. So O now, it is the top part, Y top, and B it is the Y bottom now. And then what is the Y valued O? It is 0. What is the Y valued B? It is -1. 0 is to -1. So that means we're going to say 0 minus -1. Okay, so that means for the length of OB must be Y top minus Y bottom. Okay, so Y top minus Y bottom must be 0, negative into -1, and must be 0 plus 1, which is 1 unit. Okay, and then we're done with this portion. That is the first question. So let me just move on to the next one. So the next question says, calculate the length of CD. Where is CD? All over here. So we want the length between these 2 points. So here we need to what we need here is that only the Y values. So there is a Y value here of C. So the Y value of C, it is 1. Let me just try it on. It is 1. And what is the Y value D? Remember, it turns in -2. The value is -2. So therefore C, it is the top value, and then at D it is a bottom one. So therefore, for us to get the length between these 2 points, we're going to say Y top minus Y bottom. So that means now in number 2 it's going to be the length of CD must be Y top and then minus Y bottom. Okay, so that is Y top should be let's just check the Y top. It is +1 minus into -2, 1 minus into -2. Let me just open a space into -2. So 1 plus 2. Therefore, the final answer is 3 units. Okay, and then now we go over to number. Let me just erase everything here. Yes, we go over now into number 3, the length of EF. If OE is 315, this one, OE from O over here up to E, if this portion over it is 315 degrees, so that means this is the x valued E. Remember, E it is the x-intercept, so that means x is 315. What is the Y value? Is of course 0. But now we do not know the Y value exactly at F. So, but it is not 2. It is below 2. It is bigger than 1 on the other side. So we can't predict this. So maybe we're gonna say maybe it is 1,4, maybe it is 1,5, or maybe it is 1,6. But we don't know exactly the point. But F, it is not there. at 2. No, it is not. All right, but now it's easy because point F is on graph F. So there is the equation for graph F, and we're given the angle. So that means the angle there that we are given, which is 315, that x value is the same x value for F as well. Why? Because they're on a straight line. They share the same x value. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just take that 315, we put it there in the place of x just to get y value at F. All right, and then from there we just work it out. So that is number 3. So we're gonna say for F, that is y is equal to must be 2 cos x, and then we just have 2 cos x. So the place of x now we're gonna put 315 degrees, and then the final answer must be root 2, or maybe 1,41. So that is the y value at F. So therefore the coordinates of F here, it is that is x must be 315, and then y it is root 2. That's this is the coordinates of F. Okay, remember, if now we want to determine the distance of EF, that is from F to E down here, this F is going to be y top minus y bottom. Okay, so what is the y value here? At top is going to be that root 2, and then root 2 minus 0 here, that is y top minus y bottom. So that means going to be the length of EF must be equal to y top minus y bottom. And then now what is the value of the y top? Just root 2 minus 0, and then the answer is just root 2 unity. Okay, so that's it. And then now we move on to these questions, the following ones here. So we said now graphically you determine the values of x as an element of 0, that is from 0 here up to 360. So how do we then determine these values of x? Going to number 4, that is the first part. So let me just clear everything. Yes. Now they say here we must determine the values of x when f of x is equal to 0. What does it mean? Meaning that when y is equal to 0. Now you will remember that if y is equal to 0, that means there it is an x-intercept, because y is equal to 0. So where do you see that y is equal to 0 in a graph over here? Okay, so this is the y value. When you go down, y starts to decrease, it's decreasing up to 0 over here. And also if you go up, it starts to increase up to 0 over here. So over this line here, y is 0 here, this line over here. Okay, so where y is 0, what is the x value? Don't tell me that y is 0 somewhere here. No, it is not, because from this portion y start to increase, is increasing this portion, which is this part. The y is increasing that part, and is decreasing here, increasing here, decreasing here, increasing there, decreasing there. So that means the value of y, it is exactly 0 over here and over here. That is the two values of x where y is 0. So how do we then write this one down? So let me first try to number this one, because starting from 0 degrees must be 45, and then this is 90, and definitely this is going to be 180, this is 270, this is 315, because I got it from here, because they say if it is 315, that means that means the difference between these values, it is 45. Okay, I got it from here. So after 315 must be 360 definitely. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is that, okay, we say now the values of x, where y is 0, is 0 over here, y is 0 here and here. So that means the values of x is 90 and 270. That's where y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 between these 2 points over here. So now how do we answer that? And then we say number 4, when f of x is equal to 0, that means 0 when x is 90 degrees and when x is 270 degrees. This is the answer. Okay, so now let's go and check the second part. So in the second part, all is the same. That means but now we're looking for g when y of g is equal to 0. That means still we're looking for the x-intercept. Okay, so where exactly? Now you will see that these two graphs, they intersect here, they intersect over here. So that means we're going to use the same values of x. So as well, g of x is going up and start to be 0 here, and going up here and it's 0 here, and going down, but it's 0 at 90 and 270 over here and here as well. So that is the first part. So, and then the second one, we say when g of x is equal to 0, that's between 90 and 270 degrees. Now we go to the third one, when y of g, when y of f of x is equal to 2. So meaning that, let me just try to erase this portion here. That's perfect. So meaning that we want to know what are the values of x when y is equal to 2. Only when y is equal to 2. Y of f of x, not g of x. Okay, so now let's look here. Let's look where y is equal to 2. Over here y is 0. Somewhere here y is 1. I think you can see there's 1 here. This portion y is 1. But at this point over here, that's where y is 2. So where y is 2 over here, what is the value of x here? It is 0. Okay, and then where is the second part? Over here y is just negative. So they say there must be positive 2. So must be positive 2. So that means we don't even come to this portion because this one is below 0. Okay, so we just go up there, and the last portion there, that last portion, it is the same length or same height with that 2. So f of x is 2 when x here it is 360 and 0 degrees. So that is 2 here and is 2 here when x is 360 and when x is 0 degrees. Okay, so now how do we write that one down? Then we say number 3, 1, 2, 3, and then f of x is equal to 2. That means where x is 0 degrees is to 360 degrees. Okay, and then now we move on to, that is to the fourth one. Now we are looking for the values of x when y of g is equal to -1. Where y is -1, we want those values of x there. Now let's go to the graph and check that. So let me just try to erase this portion. Okay, wonderful. So where y of g is -1, what is the x there? So let's come over here. So that means we're not going to focus from this portion, this point going up, because the y values above 0 are positive. but we need the portion from 0 going down, because the y values there are negative, because they say when y value of g is negative, and also from this portion going down, which is y is also negative. So these are the two parts that we are looking for, the first portion here and the second part over there, because the y there it is -1. So then we just check, we want exactly when y is -1, not only less than 0 but -1 exactly. So starting from here, y starts to decrease, maybe it's -0,3, 0,5, 0,8 and so on, but y is negative over here, -1 over here exactly here. What is the x value here? It is 0. And then what is the other point exactly? Remember guys, we don't even come to this portion. Why? Because it is above 0 and y there is positive. All right, and then from here and going down exactly over here, exactly here, so y there is -1, and then the x value is 360 degrees. So we want that part. So that means the answer here is going to be, that is must be number 4, and then in number 4 the answer here must be that is when g of x is equal to -1. So it's negative from 0 degrees is to 360 degrees, just between these two x values. All right, and then now going to number 5. Now when f of x is less than 0, when they say f of x is less than 0, let me just write it here. When they say f of x is less than 0, they mean that the y value of f is negative. It could be -1, it could be -2, it could be -3, it could be -4, it could be -5, and so on. But as long as it is negative, that's all that matters. Okay, so what is negative? It is the y value of f of x, guys. Now let's go and find that one here. Remember guys, you can draw this line. This is the origin. Yeah, at this portion, this origin, it separates this one, the positive y value and the negative. From 0 going up, all the values of y are positive. From 0 going down, all the values of y are negative. According to this equation, we are looking for the part where y is negative. That means we're looking, that is from 0 and going down, only for f of x. Okay, let's go now. So that is from here, let me just clear this part. That is from this portion, f of x is still above 0, guys, up to this part here. And also over here, f of x still above 0, therefore it is positive, therefore it is positive. And we do not want that at this moment in time. We want when y is negative, guys. So that means y start to be negative here at 270 going down, and also from 90 going down. This portion over here, that's where y is less than 0, because there is -2, there is -1. But what matters is that this portion here, it has been drawn on the negative side of y. So that means now when we write the answer here, then we're going to say the graph started to be negative from 90 up to 207 from here, and then all the way down. So y is negative, is less than 0 up to 270. So that means it's between x, that means between 90 and 270. So now that here we've got the inequality sign, so that means we're going to say x here is that means x here is greater than 90, and x on this side is less than 270. Why are we saying that? x is greater than 90 and x is less than, because this is a timeline, guys. This is 90 degrees here, and we're saying x, we just put x in the middle. Okay, if you want to when you are about to write the answer, then must be 270. So you are saying, and from 90 going that side, we are increasing. So that means 9x here, it is beyond 90. Okay, so that means if we are increasing from this portion to that side, so that means x must be greater. X is greater than 90, but x is less than 270, because x is before 270 if you are increasing going to the right. So that means x must be less than, because x is before than 270. So now you just put x right in the middle, and then when you write the answer, and then you say number 5 here must be when f of x is less than 0. So we're saying that x is greater than 90 degrees, and also x it is less than 270 degrees. So guys, if you see is equal to, you use semicolon when you write the answers. You separate these two values with a semicolon if there is an is equal to. Okay, but if there is an inequality sign, and then you also use an equality sign. If there is a less or equal to, you also use less or equal to. If there is a greater or equal to, you also use greater or equal to. Okay, but when do you use semicolon? If only if there is a what, an equality sign between that function and the numerical value. Then from here we go to number G. That is number, we go to G, that is number 6 over here. Again, G of x here is less or equal to 0. Guys, if it is less, that means y is negative. If y is negative, that means y is below 0. If there's 0 here, y, that means is somewhere here, because y below 0 is negative and y above 0 it is positive. We don't want this part, but we're going to focus on the what, on the negative side, which is below 0. Okay, so what do we do then here? Then that must be we're looking for G. So G, guys, let's say here, okay, starting from this, the graph of G is this one here. Yeah, so starting from here at 90 going up, and again from 27 going up, G here it is positive. We don't want this part. We want the part when G of x is less or equal to 0, meaning that is negative. We want that part. So that means between 90 and 270, that is between this portion, between this part here, we're not going to focus on this part at this moment in time. So now starting from 90 again going down to that -1, then this portion, it is below 0. It is negative. This is the part that we're looking for. Again, starting from 27 going that side, this is the part that we are looking for. Okay, then we're saying, okay, what are the values of x from 90 up to -1? It is 0 and 90 degrees. So it's starting from 0 degrees up to 90 degrees, and again starting from 270 up to 360. These are the values of x when g of x is less than 0. So from here, and then we say that must be, you just put x right in the middle, and then x again must be greater or equal to 0 and less or equal to 90, and yeah, must be also x less or greater or equal to 270 and less or equal to 360. Then you can just present these answers down there. Okay, so that means in number 6, so in number 6 we're saying g of x is less or equal to 0. So that means less or equal to 0 where, let me just write it down here, or let me just minimize the space. Okay, so that means when x is greater or equal to 0 degrees and less or equal to 90, and the second part when x is greater or equal to 270, and then when x is less or equal to 360 degrees. So those are the two answers that we were required to calculate. And then now the next one says we're going to number 7. So we want f of x when f of x is greater than g of x, meaning that when f of x is above g of x, what are the values of x there? So let me just clear everything here. Okay, so we want those part. And then when they say when f of x is above g of x, so meaning that we want when the graph of f is above the graph of g of x, meaning that g of x must be below and f of x must be above. So I want to check now the values of x from that portion to this part where f of x is above g of x. Now let's check over here. So these are the two graphs. So this is f of x. This portion here, let me just use this color. This portion here, this part is above this part. So it's above from 270 up to 360. And then what else now? Okay, this portion over here, it is g of x that is above, and we don't want this part at this moment in time. And then again, this portion here, f of x is below. No, we don't want the values of x when f of x is below. Okay, again, we don't want this part. But starting from here going up, again, f of x is above g of x. So that means now f of x is above between 0 and 90 and 270 and 360. So simple as, and then we're going to use that symbol of greater or equal. Remember, x is between x and 9. So x is greater or equal to 0 and less or equal to 90. So, and same applies on this portion over here. So that means number 7, in number 7, so it must be when f of x is greater or equal to g of x. So it's greater between when x is greater or equal to 0 degrees and less or equal to 90 degrees. And again must be greater or equal to 270 and must be less or equal to 360 degrees. Okay, and then we go to, I think, to the last one, this one, when g of x now is above f of x. Okay, so let's just clear everything here. Now we want when g is above. Where's g? So g is this one here over here. So g on this portion, g is below and g is below, but this part over here, g now is above f of x. So g is above between 90 degrees up to 270. So that means x must be greater than 90, less than 270. So we are done now, guys. Thank you so much for your time. So that means when g of x is greater than f of x. Thanks for watching. So we're saying the values of x must be x is greater than 90 degrees and less than 270 degrees. Thank you so much.